and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Last time, we continued our voyage to Eve, and unfortunately our voyage to Eve did not make it where it was supposed to go. Look, there it is out there. Kind of vaguely looks like it's in the right place, but I can assure you it is not in the right place. We're gonna have to center on Eve, then get this dude. See, he's in orbit around the sun. It's quite unfortunate. Maybe one day, with any hopes, he will crash into Eve as their orbits intersect, and then he will finally be where he was supposed to be. Although, based on what I'm seeing of its orbit, that might not. No, I don't think that'll ever happen. That's unfortunate for you, you disgusting probe. You're a complete failure to us. Get out of my face. Okay. So we are going to, in that case, launch yet another probe with the destination of Eve. Once again, we're gonna do it again. Don't worry. When in doubt, do it a second time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna load up the same rocket we used last time and then alter it. Okay. One pretty annoying issue we had was a lack of photovoltaic cells on the outside of the rocket itself, allowing it to not completely run out of power during its flight. We had to extend the solar panels. It was bad. Things went. We missed a maneuver because of it. Maybe had we gotten that maneuver, we would have survived. I'm going to elect that that's probably not the case, but you never know. Okay, that's disgusting. There we go, that's nicer. So now we got a bunch of solar panels on there. There's not much of a chance of us running out of energy now. Unless, of course, we're on, like, I don't know, the other side of the planet, which has happened before and is not ever a good thing. Okay. So, probably the best way to fix this is to brute force the entire rocket. We are going to do what no man or woman or baboon has ever done before. At least we're pretty sure about the baboons. We can't actually ensure that no baboon has ever done this before, but I'm pretty certain that no baboon has done this. If you know of a baboon that has done this, we need to talk, because that's a serious threat to national security at that point. And we're gonna have to get the CIA on that. We're gonna have to get PETA involved, mostly by hitting them over the head with, like, I don't know, a 10-pound weight, because we can't have PETA interfering as we eradicate the baboons, because yeah, that's gonna be necessary. Baboons will have to be eradicated in the name of freedom. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to attach solid fuel rockets onto our solid fuel rockets, creating super solid fuel rockets, and with any hope, all the more thrust we need to not have to use these main rockets to get very far up off of Kerbin's ground. That would be nice, then we'll have more fuel for our actual flight. God, there we go. Is that good? That's nice. That's nice, that's so nice. I love it. It's so good. I'm whispering into my microphone. Why would I whisper into my microphone? You need to be able to hear every word I say. Because I swear to goodness every word I say is quite important. And if it isn't, well, I'm on fire. No, that's not the case. I'm rarely ever on fire. I'd say in the course of my life, I've been on fire about 7% of the time. I think that's a pretty good percentage for being on fire. I'd prefer to keep it that way. I make sure to have my daily dose of being lit on fire. Just every day to make sure that, you know, I keep up with the quota. If I miss the quota, then my trainer's gonna be all mad at me, be like, mate, why'd you miss your fire quota? And I'd be like, well, I was like swimming. And he was like, no, that's not acceptable. Here's some napalm. Next time you go swimming, you're gonna have to use it. I'm just like, oh, mate, I don't want to. And he's like, you're gonna have to suck it up, mate. It's for the good of everyone. And oddly enough, it was for the good of everyone. It was strange. Where's our piece? Right there. We need it in triplicate. Yeah, you're saying, oh, mate, this is just ridiculous. You're just putting a ton of rockets on top of what is already a ridiculous quantity of rockets. And I'm going to say to you, first off, shut up. Get out. Secondly, yes, you are completely correct. That is exactly what I'm doing. It's going to be so many rockets, it's disgusting. Which also means it's going to be so many rockets that no one is going to be able to stop us, ever. We shall rule this world with all of the rockets we have created. This is probably enough rockets to, I don't know, blow up a small European country. Because, I mean, European countries are the smallest countries. I mean, have you ever seen Eastern Europe? It is Eastern Europe. Just like in that area, there's just like 1.5 billion tiny little countries. You would think they'd be better off just, you know, banding together and, oh, good lord. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. There we go. Okay. As I was saying, you'd think they'd be better off banding together and creating one single municipality. But I don't know. They have their own plans. They don't have to listen to some crazy person sitting in a computer. Which is both good and unfortunate for them. Quite unfortunate indeed. Okay, we just need to put on a bunch of struts, people. That's it, I swear. All that's going on here. Once that's done, we can launch. And it'll be brilliant. The amount of thrust coming out of the back of this rocket will be absolutely grotesque. Like, I can't even begin to express how disgusting this already looks to me. It's like a rancid chicken was wrapped around a raccoon who'd recently been dumpster diving out back of like a huge restaurant, so now he's just absolutely covered in jazz. And it's not the good kind of jazz, it's the bad kind of jazz, I can assure you of that. It's the worst kind of jazz. Okay. Now we need to figure out this staging, which is absolutely ridiculous at this point. So these guys... all of these, come on. Please. All of them. Select all of them. I'm shift-clicking all of them! Good lord. Gonna have to drag them up one by one? My god. Let's drag 7 up into there. Give me every single one of them. Come on. Oh, good lord. Once again, one by one. There we go. And then we also need this one up here. It's a lot of them, to say the least. There's so many. So many stacked couplers are gonna go off at the same time. It's ridiculous. It's gonna be a literal explosion on the side of our vessel. Okay, all of these guys need to go off at the same time. These guys also need to go off at the same time. So we'll take all of these, move them down. This is the largest stage that has ever been seen by mankind, ever. Okay. And then we'll also have these rockets go off at the same time. We'll just make sure they're completely off before we launch, and that'll run the main rockets. And this will be the massive fireball of fate. Enter. Because that's pretty much what it's gonna be. A massive fireball of fate. Well, Godspeed. Wait, nope. We're not quite done. There is one thing we are missing, which is quite important, actually. We need these guys. Not really sure where to put them all, but we're just gonna put a few on here, just like that. Perfect. And then we will save. Godspeed, massive fireball of fate. Good luck, you fool. Okay, here we go. Upwards into dawn we shall fly, and with any hopes we won't explode on launch. Although I can't promise anything because that's a lot of rocket fuel. So much rocket fuel. Messed up the staging, mate. That needs to go over here. This needs to go over here. And this also needs to go over here. There we go. Making the world's largest stage even larger. Since 1943. Okay. Our throttle is all the way down. RCS and SAS are on. Go for it. Oh my lord. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, look at it. It's beautiful. The streak goes over 200 meters. The flame ball is like 200 meters long. Oh, it makes me so happy. Oh, but at the same time, slightly disturbed. It's fine. Okay. We're flying our way up. Looks like we have small instability within the flight pattern. That's fine. Our RCS is going to keep us on track regardless. Please, RCS, keep us on track. Please don't not keep us on track. If you don't keep us on track, I swear to goodness, I'm going to find your families, RCS. I'm gonna take your families. I'm gonna, like, jab them a bit with a knife. Just a little. Then I'm gonna skin them, turn them into little bags, and hand the bags out to little orphan children so I can harvest their tears. And use their tears to create the elixir of life, which I then sell to business people as a market scheme, and then, you know, make big bucks. Yeah. By the way, I've already patented all of those maneuvers, so you can't do them. Just saying. You can't do it. Don't do it either. It's terrible. It's the worst. You don't do it. My lord, it is still firing. We are 10,000 meters up. We have a flame streak the size of Chicago, and we are about to get into upper atmosphere. It's very nice. We're also about to relinquish all of these fuselages unto the homeless people of Kerbin, so that they may live within rocket fuselages, assuming that any of them survive the trip down, which is questionable. I actually don't know if they'll survive, but regardless, we're going to try and see if they do. If they do, that would be great. Okay. It's very close. And... there you go. Release. Throttle up! Throttle up! Throttle up! Throttle up! Get out of the danger zone! Them drift. Let them drift down to the surface. I really wanted them to all explode. That would have been hilarious. That would have been a massive explosion too, wouldn't it? Okay. At this point, I'm going to start by turning off the throttle real quick. Then we are going to create our... let's turn off the SAS and then create our angle of ascent to begin our whole, you know, forming an orbit thing. This is kind of important. At least I think it's kind of important. I mean, pretty sure it's fairly important. We are not getting control of our vessel very well. This is an unruly vessel, especially when it's still slightly within atmosphere. There we go. That's good enough. Fire off. Let's look at our orbit at this point. Orbit is currently... we are firing in the wrong direction. good for us. Okay. At this point, we can slow down and create a maneuver. Maneuver time! Orbit map. Add maneuver. It's going to be a speed up maneuver to bring us around Kerbin. Come on. Now we're going to have to shift with the blue. Not 100% certain what the blue does, but the blue does something good because it's just made a nice maneuver, so that's fine. Just go with the blue. It's going to be fine. Now we need to get to our maneuver situation. Oh, good God. Let's turn off the SAS and get there ourselves. Tends to save a bit of RCS fuel. And we're going to have to fire off in 1 minute, so we better get over there pretty quickly. Here we go, here we go. Okay, okay, okay. That's good. Perfect. We are in position for the fire that will create our orbit around Kerbin. We still have all 3 of our fuel tanks. I'm going to guess we're going to get this 2,164 meters per second incredibly quickly with 4 mainsail rocket engines. Dun, dun, dun. It doesn't really need a dun, 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 but it's got one anyway. Had to be done, mate. Had to be done. Someone had to do it. Okay. Little probe, you no run out of electricity, we? Please don't run out of electricity, little probe. It doesn't have much electrical charge. It really does depend on those solar panels. Okay, let's start firing right now. Just to make sure we catch it at the right time. Yeah, that 2,000 meters is going away incredibly quickly, actually. Oh my lord, we have 17,000 units of liquid fuel. That's a lot of liquid fuel. How did we get 17,000 units of liquid fuel up into space? I don't even understand. That's crazy. Hopefully we'll have more liquid fuel once we get into orbit than we did last time we got into orbit. We're forming an orbit, right? Hopefully we'll form an orbit before we hit the ground. There's no promise on that one. Can't assure anything. We are running out of fuel quite quickly, though. That is not the best. Probe, don't run out of fuel quite quickly. We need all of that fuel. That's just not helpful. Let's see how we're doing. We're doing pretty darn well. We're almost to the point of stopping our burn. Where's our periapsis? 40,000 meters. It's not good. We're going to have to fire. I believe where we want to fire is more straight up at this point, because we didn't quite make the maneuver we wanted to make in the end due to stuff. It's probably not my fault, although I can't promise that it wasn't my fault. So, might be my fault. So right now we're firing directly away from Kerbin to try to create a bit more height on this orbit. Let's check our staging. Oh, we do need to release that. And that should be that, I believe. 75,000 meters, I believe, is enough. Yeah, I think that's enough. Well, we are in orbit around Kerbin again. Wow, we've been in orbit around Kerbin so many times. It's amazing. You, by the way, little probe. At this point, there's no reason to not extend your solar panels. You look cool when you extend your solar panels. Go ahead, do it. I dare you. Okay, it's extended its solar panels. That means it doesn't really matter what direction it's facing. It will definitely get electricity. The only situation in which we wouldn't get electricity at this point is if we were pointing directly away from the sun, which right now we may or may not be pointing directly away from the sun. So, you know, it's a thing. Okay, so That brings us to the end of this episode, the very beginning of the journey of this particular probe heading out to Eve. Oh no. No, 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 no. No! I just accidentally pressed space. Why did I press space? Why did I do it? There's nothing in me that doesn't regret having hit space at that particular moment. Oh, good God. Why, you little probe? Why, Eve probe? Well, anyway, that's terrible. There's so much fuel in that pod. So much fuel! Good Lord. Well, okay, here's how it's gonna go. I will make sure to get this probe, a version of this probe, back up into orbit before the next episode. Hopefully, I'll also do it so that we don't waste fuel like we did last time, switching the directions of our orbit, which was not the best. Okay, I guess we could at some point, if we ever wanted to, like, send this out to, like, the Mun or something, maybe. It might be able to get that far, I don't know. It's questionable. Could just have a huge orbit around Kerbin. Wouldn't that be fun? Anyway, you're a failure, probe! You're the worst! Oh, good Lord. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. If you hated this, just, you know, berate. Just do the beration. It's fine. I deserve it at this point. So as I said, next time I'll make sure that we have one of this class of probe up in orbit around Kerbin, so we can continue from where we were supposed to be. If I hadn't released that, it'll be the massive fireball of Death Mark II, and we'll send it out to Eve next time with the hopes of orbiting Eve. Until then, thanks for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.